Hey guys, it's Bob Ferngren and I'm back with another 8-minute video. My videos are all about network marketing, in particular the social media side of things. But today I want to talk to you about the REAL Scorecard. You know, it's really odd to me. People come into our industry and a lot of the folks who come into our industry come from traditional backgrounds. Traditionally they've gone to school. Traditionally they've gotten a job. And traditionally, to keep that job, they do what they're supposed to do. And for doing what they're supposed to do, and by the way, no one's perfect. Many of you probably work with people who do what they're supposed to do 30-40% of the time, goof off the rest. Many of you yourself maybe do what you're supposed to do 80-90% of the time. Maybe you don't think you're goofing off, but somebody's paying you for your time. I guess based on their standards, they would expect you to give them all your time, right? So we come from traditional backgrounds where we're told to do it. The people who have good values, quality people, do what they're supposed to do at a pretty high level. And for that, the vast majority of people get a fixed paycheck. And that's why you have this scale. You have a scale of people doing what they're supposed to do at a 30 to 40% level, and people doing what they're supposed to do in their job at an 80, 90, 95% level. There's that wide of a range because what difference does it make other than disciplinary actions or possibly pats on the back, or maybe there's an annual bonus or some kind of a recognition if you're doing what you're supposed to be doing most of the time. So now I understand that most people come here to our industry doing what they've been told to do in school by their parents, maybe by coaches and others, and eventually a job. And then most people don't make it here. Isn't that interesting? Most people don't make it. Now, that's not a knock on network marketing. I think if you were to line up the 1,000 people who we would just pick randomly and they said it didn't work, the absolute truth is they didn't work. That's the absolute truth. Because when there's proof on the other side for those who put in the time, effort, and energy, it does work. Now, interestingly, it works for the people who make it. It takes various levels of time. There's certainly overnight successes. They're few and far between. But it's a grind. It's like anything. It's a hustle. If you're anti-work, anti-grind, anti-hustle, you're probably not doing too well in this business, right? Again, there are exceptions. Cinderella comes along and she sprinkles her magic fairy dust and everybody wants to do what he or she does, right? That's not who the average person is here. The average person isn't just really looking at it in reality. In reality, for a fixed income, meaning this is the value we place on you. You can work harder, it won't be more. You can work less, it won't be less. You could be terminated. You could be terminated even if you're doing well. I think we all know that's the truth. But you have to do these things to stay employed. So now we come over here. And most people don't make it. And most people don't make it because they won't do the things that are necessary. What are the things that are necessary? They're not even difficult. No one has to dig ditches here. No one's required to hang out in a cubicle, eating birthday cake every day because you have a big office and somebody's having a birthday every single day. No one's required to lay brick. No one's required to put up fencing. No one is required. The physical effort here is fairly minimal, right? There's certain things you have to do. It clearly starts with your own goals and your own purpose. If you don't identify that, you will never make it in network marketing. So the sooner you identify your purpose, your reason why you're doing it, write it down on paper, be specific about it, and your goals. What's it going to take to achieve that ultimate purpose? What are the goals? What are the stair steps? That's an adult thing to do. Again, most people won't do that, right? Those who do will see success. Really, you have to really be a product of your products. Haven't seen anybody yet in 19 years say, well, I don't really use the products, but I sell them. That's fool's gold, people. So you don't have to be a product of every product your company has, but you have to probably be a product of the core products your company has. You're going to have to reach out to people, right? You're going to have to tell them what you're doing, why you're doing it, and where you're going, and invite them to come see more. See, that's something you can do. If it was a must to you, if this was a job and you would be fired for not doing it, those of you who excel, work your job at 80, 90, 95+%, you would do it because you wouldn't want to get fired. People who are lazy, have sloth, they're lazy people. They're going to do it at 30, 40%, and eventually this will peter out for them. But you can do that. And if you want it to be big, you'll reach out to a lot of people. You could work from a list. How easy is that to write out every single name you know and then start working that list, making intentional phone calls, making intentional reach outs. You can provide third-party tools and credibility, right? If this was your job and your boss said, look, I need you to call 5 of your friends every day, let them know what you're doing, why you're doing it, and where you're going with it. If they're interested in being a part of it, then I need you to introduce them to me. If this was a job, you would do it. But it's not a job, and it costs virtually nothing to get into our industry. So I get back to, what's the real scorecard? The real scorecard isn't the actual results. Those come over time. The real scorecard is, are you, personally you, going to own the activities that are necessary to drive your business to the results that you want to have? That's the real scorecard. It isn't comparing yourself to anyone else. It isn't, what your actual sales were or your team sales were, right? Those are good things. But the real scorecard is your personal activity. Your personal activity. If it's low or non-existent, your business comes to a screeching halt. It doesn't grow. If it's pretty high and it's definitely consistent, and it'll improve over time, you'll improve your skills. But if you're putting in the daily efforts that are necessary, and how I defined our system is probably pretty close to how your system works. There could be a few tweaks here and there, with Facebook groups and third-party credibility. But in truth, the real scoreboard is the activity. Now, here's the interesting thing. If you would do it for someone else's goals and dreams, meaning whoever owns your business, the owners of your business or whatever, then why wouldn't you do the things that are necessary here for your business, for your preferred better future? That's a question I've struggled with for a long, long time, and I'm not a judgmental person. But here's what I know. You can do this. You can excel at the real scoreboard. Hey, let's go.